Every year, thousands of people from all over the world migrate to Canada, and many have a difficult time finding work. So whether you're on a student permit, an open work permit, or you have permanent residency, by the end of this video, you will have an understanding of realistic job opportunities for you and your family. Okay, welcome to the channel. My name is Kamsi. I won't waste your time. Let's get right into it. So I've grouped the jobs into three categories. First is survival. These are jobs that people usually take because they just need the money. Second is stability. These are jobs people usually take to build experience in a particular field. And third is scale. These are jobs with high scalability that have a high earning potential. But some of the jobs mentioned today will fall into multiple categories. So let's get started with jobs for newcomers on a study permit. To be able to work in Canada on a study permit, there are some requirements. You need to be a full-time student at a designated learning institution. Your study program must be at least 6 months long and lead to a degree, diploma, or certificate. You must have a social insurance number, and you must have conditions printed on your initial study permit that allow you to work in Canada. There are also additional requirements that you may need to meet. To find out more, head over to this website or click the link in the description. So during the semester, students who are allowed to work can usually only work for 24 hours per week, and you're usually allowed to work more than one job to make up for these hours. However, during school breaks such as winter and summer holidays and reading week, you are usually allowed to work for unlimited hours. So realistic job opportunities for newcomers on a study permit include flexible shift jobs such as retail, restaurants, delivery jobs if you have a driver's license, warehouse jobs, or security if you have a license for that too. And these jobs fall into the survival category, meaning that most people don't really want to take these jobs, but you've got to do what you've got to do to survive. And to be honest, most people that I know that have worked on a study permit didn't find it too hard to get one of these jobs. So that's the upside. But for these jobs, you're usually looking at a minimum wage salary. And in Canada, minimum wage ranges from $15 to $20 per hour, depending on which province you reside. Alberta has the lowest minimum wage at $15 per hour, and Nunavut has the highest at $19.75 per hour. Ontario's minimum wage is $17.60 per hour, but is rising to $17.95 by October 1st, 2026, and BC's, that's British Columbia's minimum wage, is currently $18.25 per hour. But one thing you must know is that these minimum wages partly relate to the cost of living in each province. For example, one of the reasons Alberta's minimum wage is low is because the cost of living compared to Ontario or BC is lower. But there are still more opportunities. These next jobs are the upper echelon of work opportunities for newcomers on a study permit, and they include on-campus jobs, paid internships, customer service jobs, and tutoring jobs. These jobs fall into the stability category because you can actually gain valuable experience while working one of these jobs. And with these jobs, there's some scalability, and you could also earn higher wages sometimes. For example, a paid internship can turn into a full-time role after you graduate, earning you a work permit and allowing you to stay in Canada for extended time. And tutoring jobs can actually turn into a business. With the use of AI, you can build systems that you can sell to students to help them with their studies. So now we're going to move on to newcomers on an open work permit and permanent residents. So I've grouped open work permit holders and permanent residents together because they're generally pretty similar. But for individuals on an open work permit, you may need to do a medical exam to work some jobs, such as healthcare jobs and childcare jobs. And if you have an open work permit under the provincial nominee class, you may only be allowed to work in a specific province. And for permanent residents, there may be certain jobs that require citizenship, such as government jobs. But generally, open work permit holders and permanent residents can usually do about the same thing. But you must know that having an open work permit or permanent residency doesn't mean that your credentials transfer automatically. For example, a Nigerian lawyer coming to Canada will still need Canadian licensing. And of course, if you have an employer-specific work permit, you can only work the job that's specifically written on your permit. But for open work permit holders and permanent residents, If you don't want to do the survival jobs that were stated earlier, there are still some realistic opportunities that you can get that fall into the stability and survival categories. First is personal trainer. This job has a low barrier to entry. All you need is a personal training license, a CPR license, and to have some fitness experience. I used to be a personal trainer, and to be honest, it's pretty straightforward. You do need to get clients to start earning a good income, but the good news is that the gym often helps you gain clients, and they may also pay you a minimum wage to prospect while you're at the gym. And if you have no experience, some gyms may even sponsor your license. So personal training jobs can be fully commission or partially. So for me, I had a partial commission personal training job. So I would earn a wage from prospecting and also training the client. And I would also earn a commission from closing deals or gaining clients. And the benefit of this job is that it's very scalable, meaning that you can learn some valuable skills such as sales skills and people skills. And you can also build the skills to eventually open up your own gym. And when I worked as a personal trainer, my starting salary was $33 an hour when I was training a client. The next job is PSW, Personal Support Worker. This job is in high demand and they will usually train you if you don't have any experience. Many PSW employers are hiring newcomers even if they have no Canadian experience. This job is highly scalable, especially if you plan to be a nurse. You're able to gain some experience in the healthcare industry, and you could even start your own PSW business in the future. Next are construction jobs, and these jobs have a low barrier to entry. In fact, when I was in university, I was walking across the street and there was a group of construction workers working, and their foreman came up to me and asked me, "Do you want a job?" So these jobs are out there and they're actively looking for people to employ. However, a lot of the hirings usually come through referrals, word of mouth, unions, staffing agencies, or even random interactions you have with people. And these jobs can be scalable if you play your cards right. For example, when you enter the construction industry, it's likely that you will enter as a laborer, but the plan isn't to stay a laborer. The goal is to move from laborer to apprentice to licensed tradesman to foreman to contractor and then to business owner. So as you work in this industry, try to gain as much knowledge and skills as possible so that you can climb up the ladder. Next, we have admin roles. And this includes working as a receptionist at places like gyms, car dealerships, real estate offices, law firms, dental clinics, and much more. It also includes working as an assistant for realtors, lawyers, mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, and other professionals. And this job is highly scalable because you actually learn about the industry you're working in. For example, many gym receptionists move on to become personal trainers. And I saw this for myself when I used to work at a gym. There were some receptionists that became personal trainers. And lastly, we have sales. And this includes car sales, B2B, financial services, cell phone sales, HVAC, and much more. And the good thing about sales jobs is that you develop so many valuable skills that are transferable to any industry, such as sales and people skills. And it's often highly scalable because most sales jobs are often commission based, meaning you get what you put into it. So if you work hard, you can earn a lot. However, there are some sales roles that also offer a salary and commissions. So these are some realistic opportunities that you can land if you plan on migrating to Canada. I hope this information gave you an idea of what you can do work-wise when you arrive. If it did, feel free to give this video a like, share it, and also subscribe for future content. But make sure to keep looking for opportunities because they are out there. Have a good day and God bless.